Hello and Happy New Year and welcome to the Shooting Show. This week we're covering pigeon shooting and pest control. We're starting with some festive foxing, and with a busy lambing season just round the corner, Mark Ripley has got his work cut out keeping the fox numbers down.
It's the middle of December and I'm out doing a bit of foxing. This is a really good time to get out and about because at the moment foxes are beginning to pair up. They're moving around quite a lot, so what you tend to get is a lot of dog foxes and stuff going from one territory to the next looking for prospective mates. So you quite often will find this time of year you're going to be getting foxes that are coming in from neighbouring grounds onto your ground. So it's a good opportunity to get out. We've got a dry night tonight. It's really cold, frost on the ground and that, but we've had so much rain lately. It's makes a nice change. So we've come down to a small farm that I quite often shoot. It's a good farm for foxes. There tends to be a good number down here, but with lambing starting, as I say, in January, we need to get those numbers down. The kit that I'm using this evening is quite a straightforward setup really. I've got 243 rifle. This is a Mauser M12 in 243, and I've got a Hick Alpex scope on there, night vision scope. Brilliant little scopes these, they're just under 800 quid and you're getting a hell of a lot of night vision scope there for the money. I've got a PBIR illuminator on there to get the most out of it, held on there with Sports Match one piece mount, really good quick release mount this, so I can swap that to a day optic without any loss of zero if I wish to. I'm also using the Pulsar merger thermal binoculars for spotting, and I've got the Recon tripod here with me as well. So all the gear, no idea. Right, so I think we'll pitch ourselves up here. It's quite a good spot this. It gives you a good view down along the hedgerow in front, and this particular corner of the field, this is usually quite good for foxes. They tend to come up through from the marshy fields behind and come just straight up this field towards the farm behind. And also I can see over the hedge just next to me, but it's a really moonlit night tonight, so I'm going to keep to the hedgerows, and rather than sort of stalking and walking around the fields and that, I'm going to try and sort of stay put, scan around with a thermal, and either try and squeak stuff into me, or if I spot something out in the fields, then maybe I can sort of walk discreetly along one of the hedgerows out to it. Okay, so I've got a fox sat out in the next field, and he's about 120 metres away at the moment, but unfortunately where he's sat I can't shoot. He's on the wrong side of the hedge, so I need to get him a bit closer, so I'll try to give him a little squeak, see if I can pull him in. Hey! Well, that was nice and easy. That's the first one down. So that fox, I first spotted him on the edge of the next field. So he was on the far side of the hedge, which is the boundary. So he was just sat there looking at me. Tried to squeak him, and he didn't take any notice. And I was actually using this little thing. This is one of the Wham type calls from Best Fox Call. I don't normally use these, normally just use my hand just to squeak stuff in, or just a lip squeak, but I quite like using this sort of thing on a night like this where it's a real still sort of night and you want something very quiet, and they do like this call, it does work very well. So I gave him a little blast of that, and he gave the head sort of tweaked a little bit, you know, from side to side, and then he comes steaming across the field. And as soon as he came in, I could see him through the hedge in front of me at the bottom of this field. Got on the rifle, and he came straight through, and that was just over 50 yards, about 50 metres, something like that. And of course, 243 straight down. So yeah, nice and easy. So that's the first one down. Right, so I know I said not 10 minutes ago that I wasn't going to go walking around the fields and that, but my toes gone absolutely numb and I need to warm up a bit. So I'm going to walk down and have a look at this fox, see if it's a dog or a vixen, and then we'll have a little wander just down the other end of the field and have a look, see if we can see anything in the next field. Well, there we go, there's our fox. Quite a nice little looking fox, quite compact. Stocky little fella. That looks like that might well be, I would say probably a vixen just looking at it. No, dog fox. Oh, actually quite a good size. Lovely brush on him. Quite a weighty fox that. Nice. Right. Well, have a wander down the other end there and have a look, see, I think. Right. Leave that there for a minute and pick that up on the way back. I can hear a fox calling in the distance. It's quite a way off mine, but it's worth walking down and have a look just to see if they're in the back of the next field. If they are, I might be able to squeak one over or something. Right, so I'm going to stand underneath the branches of this oak tree here. It's doesn't give you a lot of cover, but at least it sort of shelters me a little bit from the moonlight. So I'll be a little bit better hidden stood here. So I'll just give it half hour or so, just stood here, see if anything comes along. It's another good spot actually because it's slightly raised here, and from this spot I can see into the field to my left, and then two fields in front, and I can see all the way back down the field that I've just walked up. So yeah, it's a good spot to stand around for a little while. So just while I'm waiting for something to appear, this is the Alpex scope. I've been quite taken by this scope. It's a really cheap scope for what you're getting. That retails I think just under 800 quid, and it's a night vision scope. As I say, I've got the PBIR illuminator on that. It does come with an IR with it, but you have a colour day screen on that and black and white night screen. You've got a decent zoom on it, which is just on the side turret here, front focus. You can see I've got a fishing coaster on the front there, and the reason for that is it just makes it easier just to turn that with your fingertips when you're in a shooting position. It records direct to inbuilt memory, so yeah, it's really nice and easy to use. And if you're after a cheap but effective night vision scope, then that's well worth a look at one of them. Another nice thing about it is it uses 30mm tubes, so you can use the normal scope rings on that. That's a one-piece quick release sports match mount, and I use these on pretty much all my rifles for the simple reason that I can swap scopes with them, and I can it's just got like a quick release lever on the side there, on the other side, and it just enables me to whip that scope off, bang a day scope on there, tighten them up, and I haven't got to mess about. It just holds at 0. I trust it. Yeah, so one of them on a night vision scope like this, and then one on a day scope, and you can swap between the two if you want. I mean, you can, obviously it's got a good coloured day screen in this, so you could use this 24/7, but the only thing is that if you're like I do quite a lot of long range shooting and stuff, so I like something to actually dial in. So, but if you're not bothered about that, then something like that's a good shout, it's a good option. Well, I've not seen it for the last half hour or so, but we've at least reduced the fox numbers a little bit this evening, so that's all good. But that's it for tonight, so thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe.
Next up, we're joining Tom Payne for some pigeon shooting. He's on a new bit of ground and he's hoping to test it with some roosting and some flighting.
Hi, my name's Tom Payne and welcome to the shooting show. Today we're on some virgin ground, a new bit of ground I've just acquired in Oxfordshire. My aim is to flight a few. I've literally just come down to sort of shoot it just to see what it's like. Maybe a little bit of roosting later as the afternoon continues or goes on. These are not very good conditions for roosting in. You want good strong wind, a little bit overcast, but it's an opportunity. I spoke to the farmer and he wanted me to sort of come down and have a look, so I'm taking the opportunity to come down. No reconnaissance, so I'm sort of just trusting my instincts. Got a belt of trees up to my right, belt of trees going down this sort of natural V here. So we're going to start here. It's a sort of natural funnel. We've got a little river that runs out just out the sort of the back there. So it's a real sort of natural bit of woodland that will sort of you have a natural flight line actually coming down towards it or through it. And so yeah, we'll see how the afternoon goes. I've got the shot cam on. I've never used one before. Just see how it gets on. If it starts to drive me mad, it's coming off. Balance wise with the gun, I've never used one. I'm going to give it a go. Be quite interesting to see some footage at the end. No, nice start, nice start. I'm going to see if I can, as we go through it, it all depends on how busy it's going to be. I'm not expecting it to be really busy because of the conditions, but with this shot cam on, I know there are some guys out there that like to sort of study them and they're sort of watching gaps and how people pick a bird up and that sort of thing, and you know, almost lead obsessed. For me personally, I'm not particularly aware of lead. I am at long range to a certain point, but it isn't my first priority. My first priority is the pickup of the bird, my gun speed, and actually focusing on the bird. With the guns, when we talk about lead, you know, everybody's eyes are different. Everybody moves a gun at a different speed. So these mathematicians that are unbelievable at working out to give it 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, you know, sometimes I just feel like they should maybe be quiet and actually learn how to get yourself there as opposed to sort of try and cheat it or measure. If you start measuring, your gun slows down and things like that. So I'll sort of discuss more about it as we go through, and then hopefully we'll have some footage that'll sort of back up. I'll try and kill similar birds, but in a few different ways, whether they'll be sort of coming in right from behind the bird, or show you a maintained, which I would never recommend on game. You see top clay shots, they sort of do it, but I just wouldn't personally for game. It's all about line, and if you miss the line of the bird, if you miss the line of the bird, then you've had it. If you miss the line, you don't read the bird, you don't read speed, distance, direction, then you never know where you're going, so you're effectively guessing. But yeah, we'll see and show you some different gun speeds and different ways of, and let's just see if actually, for my own interest as well, just to see if the shot count actually matches up to gun speed and what we're trying to do. The young roe going through that. And we just need a bit more to shoot at. So a lot of you pigeon shooters may have realised at the moment the pigeon shooting situation is not great. And the numbers situation is not brilliant either. Canker's really bad in the birds this year. Always happens with a big heavy wild harvest. Just literally just shot a couple here just to show you guys the condition of the birds is absolutely horrendous. If I just skin this back, you'll see, I mean, they really are. This is a classic example of birds that have literally been gorging themselves on acorns. Look at how emaciated that bird is. You know, if you think about what your birds look like at the end of the summer, and you just see how ribby that is. And it's the same on this one here. And just to give you a perfect example, if I just pull this crop open, there's a bit of green stuff in there, but again you can see loaded with acorns, which they become addicted to, but acorns are toxic. Their nutritional value is very, very poor, and hence again, if I just skin this one back as well, you'll see how thin it is around the breast area. So not only have we not got a huge number of birds just yet, birds are not in particularly good condition either. So that just shows you an example of what the condition birds can actually end up in when they gorge themselves on acorns and wild stuff. I haven't heard of any cases of avian flu in pigeons. There's no reason why they wouldn't suffer from it, and I really hope they haven't, especially the birds that have headed out to Europe and hopefully are going to come back. But yeah, so we just have to see how things sort of develop as we go through the winter. Fingers crossed. I know farmers are happy about it, but from a pigeon shooter's point of view and just for the welfare of the birds, and just actually see decent numbers, it is a little bit worrying. Right, let's see if that does anything. So we're just going to move down this belt of trees a little bit. There's an out-sticking branch and an old stump. I'm just going to put myself just in there. I've had a few come off my back which have caught me out and I haven't had a chance to have a shot at. Just because my window's a little bit tight here, visibility is not brilliant. So just going to try it down there for 10-15 minutes, just see if I can just give them a bit more visibility for approaching birds. We're still quite away from it actually, sort of stuff coming, but as I say, I don't know the woods, and it'll be interesting to see actually what happens. Can't beat a 100-yard, 120-yard crow. That was a bloody long way away. Ooh. Right, that's the longest one for today so far. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Rattled the back end of that. So just come for a bit of a walk just to have a little look. So there's plenty of evidence around the base of the trees. I would have said these aren't really roosting woods as such at the moment, but they're certainly been used to sit up during the day. You can see there are pigeon excrement everywhere, so all over. But whether they're actually roosting, I think it's more of a daytime resting wood, I would have said. Certainly more of a flight line in the right conditions. So it's been a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon on this new bit of ground I've got. I wasn't expecting it to be absolute mayhem. I had no reconnaissance on the place, but was asked to come down. Conditions are completely wrong for roosting or flighting, with it being still, but it's a really interesting bit of ground. I mean, there's snipe bogs, river, two very nice belts of trees. Yeah, there's a little bit of a flight line. I think the wood is actually technically used more as a sort of daytime resting wood from what I've seen at the far end, as opposed to a roosting wood. But we've killed 9 pigeons, some really good shooting, some challenging shooting, and it's been thoroughly enjoyable. And always nice to see new places, and I've got high hopes for sort of shooting this place in the future. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry there hasn't been too much action, but I'll see everybody again soon. Thanks.
The pigeons proving tricky to predict as always, but we look forward to seeing more of Tom coming up in the next few weeks. Sadly, that's all we've got time for on this week's shooting show. If you liked what you watched, make sure you subscribe, and if you're not a member of Basque, make sure you join. My name's Chris Castle, and this has been The Shooting Show.
If you aren't a member of Basque, it's time to join now. Basque, looking after your sport, looking after you.